Hello everyone, welcome to the webinar. My name is Longley and will be your host today for the webinar. This is the Home Buyer Foundation. Specifically today we are going to talk about the save for the down payment as well as finding how to find the right house. This program is specifically designed for immigrant first-time home buyers in the US and to provide you the confidence needed to buy your first house. So like many of you, just like many of you, you are not alone in this journey. Okay, you are not alone. Basically, you're working hard to build. I understand that you're working hard to build a better life for your loved ones, for your family, and buying a home is a huge milestone. I totally get it, right? But it can be very overwhelming, especially when you are new to the process and want to know the true understanding. And especially when you come to the US without any understanding about the home buying process here. Before we get started, I just want to do a brief, survey. How many of you come to the U.S. From a different country? How many years ago? Okay, how many years ago? And I want to also know if you can put in a comment where you originally from. That would be great, so that we can see whether what type of audience that I have on this webinar, right? That everything is appreciated. So my name is Longley. I'm actually came to the US. Excuse me. Okay. I'm actually came to the US in 2009. Let me share you my story. Okay. I came to the US in 2009 and basically have nothing from Vietnam. Okay. I was actually 20 years old and 6 months. All right. Came to the US. I actually, the plane ticket is actually from my sister. Okay. She contributed, she was my financial sponsor, as well as, giving me the airplane ticket for free. Then when I come here, my mom gave me $2,000 to purchase my vehicle. It was a 1995 Camry. Luckily, I also have an awesome aunt who live in Arizona for forever, and she willing to provide shelter for me. I live with her for during the first time, during the first years that I've been in the US. So basically, I came here having nothing, even money. I don't have anything, right? So I just like typical Asian, type of guy. I come back to school, which was the original. I was actually an engineering student in Vietnam. So I just go back to school, continue my education. I graduate as an engineer. I took my master degree, right? And graduate in 2016, which is an extremely success in my opinion. After 6 years in the US, I was able to get the bachelor degree and the master degree in 2016. That 2016 is also a very success year because I have two weddings. Just before you say anything, is actually to the same lady. Okay, one wedding is in Vietnam and the other wedding is in the US. Okay, um, and for typical Asian family, we are forced to think about buying a house. Now, buying a house for us makes a lot of sense back then because the reason is this: my mom and I live in a mobile home, so we have to pay for the land, right, to the landlord, and then my wife and her mom is also renting an apartment. So if we don't buy a house, my wife and I don't buy a house, then we have to rent, and we have to rent another apartment. That means there's total of 3 rent payments on the monthly pay basic that we have we have to lose to the landlord, right? And for the matter of fact, I live in Chandler, but my workplace is in North Phoenix, so it's very far away from where I am and where, from the location to the work. So there's a lot of reason for us to consider buying a house. Fast forward about 3 months, right? During that process, there's a lot of things that we don't know, and I'll share with you in a minute as well. Obviously, I want to share with. Fast forward 3 months, we got the house. We got to the first house that both of us like, to the location that we like, right? Now, I want to share with you the story because just like you, I came to the US from a third world country with nothing in hands, extremely busy with life, try to survive for the first couple of years, couple of months. Okay. When we achieve something, we try to, think about the right house right away. But the question come to mind is also, how do I save up for the down payment? How do I even have the money to purchase? Right? How to find a house and how everything, what kind of paperwork that I have to deal with, what kind of language barrier that I have to deal with, when we looking for house, right? Lots and lots and lots of questions. And in fact, that is exactly the reason why a lot of people cannot move forward with purchasing their first home. They are buried in analysis paralysis, right? Because why? Because they're going to have a lot of information everywhere, right? Information on Google, information. And now you probably have more problem because you're going to have information from AIs, right? All the AI, all the social media, all the YouTube, all the friends and families member who has buy a house, who hasn't buy a house, right? They're willing to give you the information. And then also by yourself, you also fear of making the mistakes. And for that reason, you misprioritize all the information. You don't know where to start, where to start first. And even if you know how to start first, with a lot of information, what is the next step? You get overwhelmed because of the amount of information, because of the emotion, and therefore you stop making the decision. You stop execute the plan. You stop moving forward to purchase your first house, even though you know in your heart that it is extremely important for you and your family. Now, before I move forward with the information, let me talk to you the impact of continued renting. Of course, obviously, owning a house is owning an asset, owning a property of yourself, right? But on top of that, he's looked at one of the survey from the National Association of Realtors. This is a survey between a group of people who already own a house and a group of people still renting at the time of survey. In 2005, this is the net worth, okay? In 2025, okay, the total average net worth of the homeowner, whoever own a house, is $430,000. Compared to the renter, only $10,000 in net worth. So this is about 43%, 43 times greater. The homeowner net worth is about 43 times greater than the renter. So we are not talking about owning assets. We're not talking about the short-term, benefit of not paying the landlord. I'm sure that you have that information on the internet as well. We're talking about in the long term, the net worth of homeowners is extremely high compared to the renter. And now here's not the worst yet. The worst is this, okay? According to the same survey, because they actually did this survey in 3 years, 2019, okay? According to the same survey, the gap actually become bigger and bigger. In 2019, the average net worth of homeowners is 295, about 300,000, versus only 7,300 for the renter. In 2022, the homeowner net worth average is about 396, versus tenant, the renter, is only 10,400. Okay, it's go up, but it's not as much as the homeowner net worth. Okay, so now, right now, the 2025 is actually the renter is actually go down. So you're actually losing money if you continue renting from 2019 all the way to 2025. But you're actually gaining more and more money in your pocket if you actually already purchased a home, right? So this is the cost of waiting. Is the analysis paralysis doesn't just cost you time, it costs you real money and the pride of owning your own home. But a lot of people ask me, how do I solve the problem? Why so many information on the market? Well, here's your solution. You need to execute your plan one step at a time. This, I believe, is your path to home ownership, right? It's supposed to be this simple, okay? It's much more simple than you thought. People are, confused, overwhelmed because of the information in the internet. But here's the thing, you only need to do one step at a time. If you are working on the loan, let's focus on getting the loan approval. If you are working on finding the house, let's focus on finding the house. If you are in the contract, let's focus on getting it done. Don't be overwhelmed because of everything else. The follow-up question a lot of people ask me is, Long, this is easy to say than do. What kind of plan that I should do? I'm glad that you asked, because that is exactly the reason why I generate the magical home buying method. This is the 5 phases to your success of home purchase. We're not gonna have time to go in much more detail in all the phases in this webinar, but at the high level, the first phase is the preparation phase. This is basically give you the chance to interview, to talk to agent and loan officer who is your style, who can work for you and find you the right house. Of course, you have to save for the down payment and get loan approval in this preparation phase. The next phase is actually finding the right house, right? This is, I believe, this is the most exciting part of the home buying process, right? Finding the right house, you're gonna be arguing to each other. That's fun. No, it's not fun. It's not fun, but it's just a part of the process, right? You're finding the right house, you're giving the feedback, and continue with the home search process. Next is when you find a real house, the house that you like, discussing with the buyer's agents to get you the best negotiated price as much as possible. And the process. This is the recycle process, because you may be able to get it done. You may have to come back with the production and the pricing phase to find out a house, because there's not a lot of information you can find out during just like 10 or 20 minutes. But during the process, you're gonna go, like inspecting the house, you're completing the loan, you finalize the insurance and everything, so that you know exactly what you get into, right? If you feel comfortable with everything, that is when you close on the house, and that is when we actually discuss about how to pay off your bad debt, about how to earn additional income, and about to invest your future, to build your wealth engine in the future. So this is a complete 5 phases to your success. And like I said, I don't have enough time to go over every single detail, every single phase in this webinar. And for that reason, but I want to leave you with an extremely important information, which I believe the two things. Number one is how to save for the down payment and how to find the right house, right? But like in the last couple of years, when I helping hundreds of buyers, those are the questions. Those are the two questions that I keep hearing and hearing back and forth many times. So today we are going to go over those two um, 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 information. Okay, but before you go, okay, before I go to the webinar, okay, before I go to the content, I just want to leave you with some value information. Even if you have to, leave, or if you have to, or cannot finish the whole webinar, I want you to get this. Okay, this is the guide to buy your first home. Okay, designed specifically for first-time home buyer. There's a lot of information, and it will give you all the information that I tell you in the 5 phases as well. Okay, this is completely free. Feel free to get that, read over the information, and ask me any question that you like. Okay, with that, let's go right into phase number 1. Okay, this is actually only one step in phase number 1. This is, I believe, the most important in the preparation step, which is organize your finances. For what? For confidence. Okay, let me tell you one story. When I graduated in 2016, I got a job offer right away in March. Okay, in March, yes, you heard it right. Normally the graduation is in May, right? But all the interview and like application and interview and offer letters and everything already given out. So in March, I already know that I got a job. Okay, they already allow me to stay in school for extra 2 months, and then I will go to work after that. Well, I got $66,000 in the first year. That is actually the highest amount that I earned for the entire 25 years of living on Earth. For the entire 25 years of living on Earth. So of course, I'm proud of myself. Right? I came to the US, nothing, right? Money I have to borrow, room I have to stay with my aunt. Okay, in a good way. I love her, right? But I mean, like, I don't have money to pay rent, right? During school, I have to ask for financial aid and apply for scholarship. Now I graduate. And, get $66,000 as an engineer at one of the best medical device company in Arizona. Okay. So, but here's the thing: I have zero knowledge about finance. Obviously I never have any money to know how to organize my finance. So back then, remember when I came to the US, I bought a 1995, right? 1995 Camry. So I was thinking, now I have 66,000. Why don't I buy a brand new car? It looks new. It looks fancy. It's gonna. I make 66,000, right? I have the right to buy a car, right? So I talked to my friend. His name is Gaia. He's also a mechanics, right? We've been very good friends during college, and he's know about cars. And I'm like, hey, Gaia, do you want to go check out the house? Check out the cars with me for fun, right? And based on the conversation, he suggested me to go to Lexus. Okay, then I'll go to Lexus. I don't even know. Well, I actually know what Lexus, but I never drove one before. All right, I know Lexus because my aunt and her family really like Lexus. So okay, I like the brand as well. So let's go there. But remember, I drove a 1995, right? So I drove to the Lexus dealership, and like, oh my goodness, it's the most fancy building. It's the fanciest building that I ever saw in my life, right? The dealership. Back then, I did. So I like, Ngaya, I think we should park, outside. instead of park inside because it's too messy. The car is too messy. So we park next to the dealership, the road next to the dealership, and actually walk into the dealership from the street. We're not even proud of, my old car. Obviously, there's a reason. So we walk back there, and after 3 hours conversation, well, actually a little bit longer than that, 4 hours conversation, we walk out with a $65,000 Lexus IS 250. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? I only got a job offer for $66,000 a year. By the way, I don't even know that there will be taxes, there will be medical, there will be insurance, there will be, all kind of deduction. I probably cannot get 66,000, but I decided to purchase a $65,000 Lexus. And of course, I was, getting a loan and everything. But I want to tell you the story is this, okay? Getting your finance, the reason why I want to tell you the story is getting your finance in order is actually the first steps to confidence. Because if you purchasing a home is even more complex than purchasing a car, right? And if you don't have anything in order, you don't know where the money goes. You don't know how to control the monies. Everything will, make you overwhelmed. So the fact that you need to, the fact that you want to, gaining confidence and avoid by mistake is having the finance in order. Okay, so that is actually the first step. And here it is. Here's the 5 steps that I'm gonna tell you how we are going to do this. Okay, number 1, you have to find out how much you actually take home during the month. Okay, on the monthly basis, how much you are going to take home. This is knowing exactly how much. Don't just like me. You 66,000, but you actually not getting all 6,000 home, right? But you probably like 5,000 or 5,500, right? Exactly the amount of income you are getting. Okay. Number 2 is finding how much of the expense for your family. Okay, what is the total expense you spend? Okay, you're getting back 5,000, but how much you are going to spend? 4,000, 4,500, or the whole 5,000, right? That is the first 2 important steps to control your finance. Next, based on the 2 information, you are going to create a budget, a monthly budget for your family. Well, when I say about the budget, that means, okay, you have to find out, okay, I'm gonna spend this much for eating out. I'm gonna spend this much for gas. I'm gonna spend this much for gas, for insurance, for example. Going from, the most important items, the must items, to the nice to have items. But keep in mind, one of the must items should be saving for the house. And the first saving goal is actually $1,000. And a lot of people ask me, why just $1,000? The $1,000 cannot, purchase the home. Well, the 1,000 is not a big number, crazily big number, but it's not a small number, right? It's a good amount for you to start, because the I don't know if about you, but if it is too difficult to finish, my brain work in a way that I feel good when I achieve something, right? So the 1,000 is actually a good indication for you to, for your success, right? And because it's not too big, you are easily to get that amount. Okay, for what? For the next step, which is saving for the down payment. In this, I would recommend you to start thinking about 5%, because I know that there's a lot of information about 3%, 5%, 10%, 20%, how much you need. Okay. So my recommendation is 5% as a start. If you do 3%, maybe it's too little. But if you do 20%, maybe it's going to take forever. So it's better to start small, like 5%. I think 5% is a good number, as long as, here's the thing, you feel comfortable with the monthly payment of the rest of the remaining 95% loan, right? So we able to talk more about, the reason why I choose 5% more when we talk in much more detail in the loan information. But for this step, right, let's focus on the down on the 5 steps right here. And again, if you follow this, I believe that within a month, let's try to make it a goal, like 2 or 3 months to save 1,000, and within 6 months to get your down payment down. All right. Actually, that is your homework for this is you start tracking your income and expense. Very simple, because I know that right now, if you don't have the budget in place already, it will be complicated for you to start, right? So start tracking your income and expense first, okay, and create the budget later. Then start working on your goal of saving for the down payment, as well as, of the 1,000 and saving for the down payment. Okay, so that's your homework. All right, you didn't think that you come here and you get the homework, right? Yes, you do, right? I want to give you some, useful tip that you can take home and implement right away. Okay. By the way, if you are interested in receiving all the slides, okay, you will receiving on my website as well. So watch out for the emails. If you don't receive anything, well, check your spam folder, and please contact us if you already checked spam folder and you still not see anything. We're definitely gonna send it over to you. Okay. All right. So that is down for the down payment. Now let's talk about finding the right house. Okay, let's talk about finding the right house. So finding the right house is a journey. It's not a one-time event. It will take time. Okay, so and then, like I said, this could be one of the most fun phase in the home buying process. Okay, but it's also the most complicated and could be taking a long time as well. Let me tell you this story. When we first buy our first house, right? We the most important criteria that we had was finding a place to, close to my workplace. Well, we started with that, but we didn't have it right, because when our realtor talked about like the brand new house, this is one of the things that we find out. What you means that we can buy a house, that someone can build a house from scratch for me? I didn't know. I thought that I only, be able to purchase a house that someone already built, right? And then I purchase it. That's called resale house nowadays. Okay, but I did know. And like we take a look at those community, and obviously my wife like it, love them, because newer, it's more open, it's less maintenance work and everything, right? So she love it them. So we just like, okay, continue with that path. Unfortunately, though, we forget about our number one most important goal is to find a house that is closer to my workplace. Well, we didn't find, but one thing, okay, I'm young, it's okay. I mean, instead of 30 minutes, I'm not gonna, I'm gonna be like driving 45 minutes now. That's okay. I'm young, right? I didn't think about like how damage the car and how much time and how much traffic, blah blah blah. Okay, the whole thing. Then we came to a community that we feel very very in love with, and we love the model home as well. We immediately talked to the sales agent. Hey, let's sign a contract tomorrow morning. That is already mistake number one. Mistake number one is okay. We look at the house that is at a further distance, 45 minutes to the workplace, right? And then the mistake number two is we make the decision without doing any due diligence at all. It's just based on emotion, right? Lucky for us, later that night, my parents want us to take them to the community, back to the community, and show them where they are. We did. They love the community as well. They love auto tree. They don't like one thing. It's a smell. Little that we know, next to the community there's a dairy farm, very big dairy farm, and it has been a problem for the entire area. Okay, and the smell is horrible. My wife, my mom don't like them, and she said that definitely cancel the contract tomorrow. Can definitely cancel the meeting tomorrow, right? So from that story, and we did cancel. Okay, so from that story, I want to tell you is this: it's not a matter of making a quick and emotional decision. It's about consistent taking the action to find the right house. Is more important when you're finding a house. Consistent action finds the right house faster. Okay, not by emotion, not by random thought, not by random input from random people, right? But it's a consistent actions by the right house. So here's the key, okay? For to be able to consistent producing action, I creating the 1-1-1-1 strategy. Okay. Number one is, of course, you need to talk about how to determine the criteria of the house. There's a must and there's a nice to have criteria, right? After you settle down with those lists, make sure that you view the house on the daily basis. On the daily basis, it doesn't have to be in person, but it has to be on. It could be online as well. That behavior, this habit, will make you stay informed and spot new opportunities much earlier than not checking it out. And every week, make the commitment to see at least one or two houses in person. What if you don't have any houses that you like looking at online? That's fine. Check out the neighborhood that in the area of search. And if you like the neighborhood, good. Take note so that you find if when you find a house that you like, take action very fast, right? If there's a neighborhood that you don't like, well, good too, because if there's a house pop up and it looks very fantastic, you then don't have to worry about that house because it's in the neighborhood that you don't like anyway, right? So make a commitment on the weekly basis to check out houses, to check out neighborhood, to check out the commercial area, driving through it, because real estate, at the end of the time, at the day, right? Real estate is, about physical view as well, right? It's not just about online, but about physical view as well. Next, in the monthly basic, okay, make sure that you discuss with your realtor about pricing, about market, and make at least one offer. Make at least one offer to any houses that you see if it's still available. Okay. And most importantly, the last one is the quarterly calibration meeting. If after 3 months and you haven't been under contract, you haven't been making any offers, you haven't seen any houses that you like, that's probably something wrong. Okay, 3 months is a long time already. So you need a calibration meeting to talk about criteria, to talking about what is wrong, and maybe perhaps you understand something wrong, and that's the reason why you cannot find any houses that you like, right? And of course, more importantly, during the showing, during the entire process, make sure that you ask questions and then giving feedback as well about the house. That will help giving your real estate agent a better understanding of what you are looking for and why don't you like it, and therefore they will be able to find the right house for you. So this framework right here is a way to ensure that you stay consistent in the home finding process. So many times that I saw home buyers start with checking houses, but then eventually fell off because they feel tired. They look at wrong house all the time. So they see that is a waste of time. But in fact, if you give feedback, if you know making a goal on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, we will be able to detect those problems up front, and therefore you will be able to reduce and continue with the home process. Okay, so your action today is start working on the 1111. Okay, especially checking houses online. That is a very first easy step for you to do. A lot of information nowadays. Zillow.com, Realtor.com, Redfin.com. It doesn't matter, right? Start looking at houses today. Okay. Well, here's the two things that we learned in today's webinar. Number one is how to save for the down payment. Okay. And number two, the perfect way to find the right house. Okay. So you gain a clarity on how to prepare your finance for your confidence and how to understand, choosing the right house. These two pillars actually give a very solid foundation for your home buying journey. Let's talk. As a reminder, you do also, if you haven't scanned the QR code yet for the free buyer guide, specifically designed for the first-time home buyers just like you, make sure that you grab the QR code here. Again, completely free. Okay. And then if you, if you still, if you want some personalized help, okay, if you want some personalized help, feel free to, book an appointment with me here. And in this meeting, I'm gonna go all over all the detail, all the 5 phases that I haven't had the chance to talk about in today's webinar, and maybe answer any question that you have about any phases in person as well. Okay. If the QR code doesn't work, feel free to email or text me and then request for those meetings. Okay. Before we get end for today webinar, I just want to share with you one story. Back in 2009, I came to the US, as you know, 20 years old and 6 months. I was a third year student, third year engineering student when I was in Vietnam. And my major is engineer, right? So they don't focus too much on learning language. So my English skill is actually almost zero. I always get like 2 or 3 back then. I still remember like when I was in third grade, I don't even know how to spell chicken, right? When I came to the US, I started working at Marshall's in the men's department. For those of you who don't know, Marshall is the department stores, right? They sell clothes and they sell accessories, they sell kitchenware, mainly for consumer, and they have a really good price. That's why they have a lot of customers. So I worked there in the men's department. The reason why I got accepted is because my aunt also knowing the manager there, and we were able to, get an interview, and he likes me, and I work in the back, and then later getting on the floor to, organize flow and things like that. once in a while, I do encounter with customer asking me questions. And guess what language that I use? English, right? So they asked me, there's one time that a pregnant lady come and ask me, where's the maternity clothes section? Well, I guess it's for her. But back then, I don't even know what the maternity is, what that word means. And I try to be helpful. I don't want to feel, I don't want to I don't want she to look down on me, and this guy doesn't know anything, and blah blah blah. It's just all in my head. I'm sure she doesn't feel anything. She didn't think any of that, right? It's just in my head. And so I came up with a question, being the creative engineer problem solving skill, right? I asked her, is it for men or for women? Yeah, that's the face that the lady looking at me as well, right? Is it for man or woman? And she pointed to the belly and okay, definitely for woman. Okay, so fast forward, and I make commitment for myself to speak English, to talk in English, to understand English. My writing in English may not be work, but I'm practicing speaking and listening every single day, and that give me the result that I have today. Getting graduated, getting the job as an engineer, get the house, become a business owner, buy the second house, and therefore more and more and more. And I believe that if a person like me come with nothing from Vietnam in 2009, and now owning a house, not just one, two houses, then you can do that too. You can do that. Okay, so your journey matters. Owning your home builds your family foundation and legacy. You took a beautiful step today to attend the webinar. Okay, keep moving forward one step at a time. Thank you for trusting in me today. Bye-bye.